pointing towards 2015 as a prophetic year, both of judgment and of blessing. And that we've been kind of dealing with it from the book of Acts, the second chapter and the 18th, 19th verse that talks about the coming of the great and terrible day of the Lord. And in regards to that particular season, that great and terrible day of the Lord is actually connected to the blood moons and the solar eclipses of Acts 2:17, where it says the sun will be turned to blood, or the sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. And so this year has been spoken of since 2011, as far as I can remember, or as far as I know. And it's been spoken of in the times that I actually heard leaders in the body of Christ sitting around a table in Kansas City talking about riots and martial law in the streets, and talking about collapse, economic collapse, talking about a financial collapse as far as the stock market. And these prophets and men of God have been speaking of this year for 3 or 4 years now. As we got closer to 2015, and as we got closer to some of the things that we saw happening even this year, we began to realize that what we didn't realize in 2011, that there are four blood moons that are due to hit, and the 2 that are remaining are due to hit in the spring of 2015 and in the fall of 2015. And so this year, in addition to it being a year of the coming of the blood moons and the solar eclipse, it is also what is called a Shemitah year, or Shemitah year. And that is, at every 7 years, the land is supposed to rest. And if the land doesn't rest, or if that God is not acknowledged in the land, then God brings judgment on the land. So in the book of Deuteronomy, if you look at the book of Deuteronomy, I want to share some particular points as we come into the new year and as we receive our communion tonight. Some of the particular points that this year, called the Shemitah year, or the Shemitah year, represents. In the first verse of Deuteronomy 15, it says, "At the end of every 7 years, you shall grant a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor shall release what has lent to his neighbor, what he has lent to his neighbor. And he shall not exact it of his neighbor, his brother, because the Lord's release has been proclaimed. Of a foreigner you may exact it, but whatever of yours is with your brother, your hand shall release it. But there will be no more poor among you. For the Lord will bless you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you for an inheritance to possess. If only you will strictly obey the voice of the Lord your God, being careful to do all this commandment that I command you today. For the Lord your God will bless you as he promised you. And you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And you shall rule over many nations, but they shall not rule over you. If among you one of the brothers should become poor in any of your towns within your land, that the Lord your God has given you, you shall not harden your heart or shut your hand against your poor brother." And so these 8 verses interpret to us what the Shemitah year is and what the year of release is. And the 7-year period of this year, the last Shemitah year in Israel was in the month of, in 2008. And so in 2008, it was a release year, and it was also a judgment year. And in that year, it was the stock market crash, the housing market crash. It was the economic crash that hit in 2008, and you might not remember it, but houses went into foreclosure.